Humans, known for their certain uniqueness amongst species of the cosmos, considered threats and danger, but also allies and safety. It all depends on how your species have interacted with them. But recently, a new species that had struggled to even get off their planet has finally made their presence known as Autobata. Large sentient bipeds with surprisingly larger forms, despite hailing from a planet with gravity that most would otherwise think would make a planet impossible to leave, even in comparison to the human homeworld Earth. Yet despite this, they had just barely managed to get off their planet. But when coming into contact with other races, they were feared. Their unnaturally natural strength was terrifying. When a species hailing from a planet with just 0.4 g of gravity came into contact, the Autobata greeted them with a regular greeting from their own world, which utterly obliterated the arm of the member of the other species who had greeted them, the strength of the Autobatan completely crushing the arm and hand of the other species member, which left the other members who were with them completely mortified. How a species could just render another's arm completely incapable of repair with a simple grab-like action. This left them slightly outcasted. Rumours spreading about their strength, that it could kill with a simple touch. It didn't help that the Autobata usually wore mechanical suits that covered most or all of their body, this usually increasing their strength, only resulting in more damage to other species they came into full physical contact with. But despite the danger of them, they never actually attacked. The Autobata weren't aggressors, nor were they species that aimed to take over and dominate around them. But due to the rumours of their dangerous strength and many lethal accidents involving them, they were denied the rights of a basic species, deemed barbaric and violent, despite all the many accidents being accidents. But they were still lethal accidents, caused by Autobata not understanding that they need to essentially treat the other species like a piece of glass, one that would break quite easily. Humanity was one of the few species to not instantly have anything broken or destroyed by the Autobatan on touch. This made humanity one of the first allies of the Autobatan, as they were, well, capable of actually making any sort of contact without ending up with a broken arm or leg. The one planet the Autobatan had was soon under siege, as many, as previously stated, saw them as only barbaric savages and aimed to destroy them before further damages could be done. However, the Autobatan obviously turned to asking for help, as they were under fire from multiple sieges. Humanity was one of, if not the only, to actually aid the Autobatan. That's when we noticed many similarities between them both. When out of ammo, they would both resort to using anything else as a weapon. However, humans did this with almost anything. The Autobatan didn't choose just anything, but started to be more directly inspired by humans, using literally anything. Starting to throw rocks at the enemy when no ammunition for weapons was currently available, following and copying what the humans did with better or worse results. Similar physical adaptations, both hailing from high gravity, high threat level death planets. Humans seemed to be the only ones really comfortable on the Autobatan planet, since it was decently similar to their own planet, which the Autobata named Naukrava, which in one of their old native sub-languages means wet rock, as their planet is quite rocky. Still had its forests and jungles, plus some deserts, but more rocky and mountainous regions, with about 54% of the surface being water. Humanity found themselves feeling somewhat at home on Naukrava, and the same was with Autobatans on Earth, as the humans referred to it. Both were more alert and aware than other species, taking in the fact that both planets are home to dangerous wildlife. A few things of wildlife on Naukrava seemingly performing a thing called convergent evolution to the creatures of Earth, despite the two planets never once even making contact during the animals evolving. Things like the Earth hippo being similar to the Naukravan Kushnor. Once again, this name derived from the same sub-language as their planet name, coming from their words for crush and mouth or maw. Both large semi-aquatic herbivores, with large deadly mouths filled with deadly teeth. The only differences was that Kushnors were much larger, a comparable size of an Earth elephant, also with much larger teeth, like tusks emerging from their mouths. But Naukrava also has much more unique and more dangerous wildlife, coming from the higher oxygen atmosphere in the planet. The insects and bugs of the planet were much larger. The smallest bug was about the size of an Earth rat, being a carnivorous jumping creature which would attempt to latch onto prey and bite into them, tearing out flesh and eating said flesh, before quickly jumping off and running away. So in many ways, Nalcrava was like, but also maybe even more dangerous than Earth, but humanity felt almost at home anyways. After almost 2 Earth years of war, or 1.5 Nalcravan years, they were finally and fully recognized as a species. And once war was over, the first thing that was done was an instantly extreme exploration of each other's planets. The two species sharing stories with each other of the other's planets only got the other more and more curious about the planet of the other during exploration of Nalcrava. Humans and other species had found many crashed and abandoned ships from other spacefaring species, mostly in areas or regions unexplored by the Autobata. The species who were in the crash ships seemingly having either died to wildlife or died to the crash. Some even died of starvation from the gravity keeping them grounded to the floor like a worm. This resulted in many complications and accusations towards the Autobata, as well as many unsolved cases of entire missing ships, to be finally solved. Luckily, with some backup of humanity, the Autobatan were spared any punishments, as all the crashes were simply accidents, as the only damages to the ship were deterioration or damage from crashing into the planet. Getting back to the main point, Autobatan and humans are quite alike with their physical capabilities, thoughts, and decisions on what they do. Their quick thinking, and something we thought only humans had, a thing called a sixth sense, was basically present on the Autobata. We knew humanity was weird. We knew that they were most likely not going to be the last species who would be so unique. But we didn't expect to find another unique species like them so soon.